Hey, this is my first video in the week-long video series about my experiences with coaching. And let me just start by saying, I hate the word coach. Sorry. I just saw some hilarious new commercials for Angie that nail it. They say something like, here on the internet, you can pretend to be anything, like a skilled plumber or a skilled electrician. It's such an important point. Anyone can hang their virtual shingle and claim to be a coach, with or without any real training or certification. Not that those are a be-all, end-all, because even those who have obtained a certification aren't necessarily effective coaches, or they're punching way above their weight, like those 25-year-old executive coaches who haven't occupied that realm but believe they can coach people who have more years of work experience than they've had birthdays. Until you understand that up to 85% of people fall short in self-awareness and believe that they are far more skilled than they actually are, you are vulnerable to the coaching trap. And here's the part where I share some background about my own general experiences with coaching. Credentialization. Now, over time, I developed a coaching approach in how I manage the behaviors of people that I worked with and the relationships within my workplaces. I wasn't intentional about that at all, but it became a massive part of my UVP as an HR professional. I beefed it up a bit by securing my own Leader as Coach certification from Brown University this past spring. Now, during my time here on LinkedIn, I've developed relationships with a lot of coaches, and I've had between probably 15 to 20 introductory sessions for the possibility of referrals in future work. So I've been exposed to a number of different styles and approaches. And I've learned something really important through that. So many people become coaches because they've had a bad experience that they want to save others from, or they believe they've cracked the code on something, and that's their why. And hey, I admire that. It's their noble purpose, but it may not be the noble purpose that's right for you. And I cannot stress that enough as part of your due diligence process. More to come on that in the wrap-up video on Friday. There are coaches who work broadly in things like EQ, mindset shifts, or leadership development. And then there are coaches who specialize in a specific thing, like building a sales process, or how to start your own HR consulting business, or some other type of career transition coaching. And again, I also cannot stress this enough. You must do your homework and be completely certain that they've done the thing you're trying to do, possibly in the industry you're working in, but not always, and or have vast experience helping others become successful in that thing. And even then, there's no guarantee of your success because differences in personality, circumstances, and situation mean that few things can be 100% duplicated exactly. I didn't think something as basic as don't hire a job search coach or a resume writer unless they've actually worked in a role hiring people needed to be said. But I've heard enough horror stories now to know that it does need to be said. So here I am saying it. Now, in my HR life, I've either been a part of the process or I was the one making the decisions on which coaches to hire for senior leaders. Ironclad advice to anyone who's in that seat. You must develop a diverse toolbox of different coaches. If all you have is a screwdriver, it's highly likely that someone's getting screwed. What works for your numbers-driven male CFO might not work at all for your female CEO who has an operational background, for example. You need to start with the end goal in mind. What are you trying to accomplish with that leader? I remember a time we hired a very experienced but very soft coach for a senior leader because they vibed well. And I learned that rapport is important, but other elements need to be there too, because it was an epic fail. It was a time of company upheaval and transition, and we should have taken Sonny Corleone's advice from The Godfather. In that situation, we needed a wartime consigliere. Now, over the last 2.5 years, I've hired 3 different coaches for myself. And over the next 3 days, I'm going to get into the deets of why I hired each one and what I learned from those experiences. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you'll keep watching this week.